Good morning, everybody. Welcome to episode 7 of the Dave Station. Today, I thought I'd go over a basic introduction to Lightroom and a basic workflow. So I'm going to start by importing some photos into Lightroom Classic, and then how to crop them, use the heal stuff, and then do some basic editing and before exporting them. Okay, so let's get started. I'm using Lightroom Classic, but the process will be similar enough in the online version. So we go firstly, let's go to our library, and we're going to come down here to import. And it's already got the source selected. So I don't want to be importing all of these photos. So I'm going to here, take the tick out of all photos. I only want a handful of these to begin with. So I'm going to select the first one, press and hold Shift, select the last photo, and press spacebar. Okay, to select just those photos. Now I need to select where I'm going to put them, and I'm going to stick them in I've got my catalog set up here, and I'm going to stick them here. Quick edits of random photos. Oh, what's the date? It's the 1st of the 12th. 1st of December. And that's within extravaganza. The reason I do the date that way, that's something I was taught, something I learned for organizing photos, that it's Lightroom organizes them better with the date that way, the year, month, day, but it doesn't matter. It's entirely up to you how you organize your photos. Whatever system suits you best. So okay, so that's going to put them in here, and it's going to create this folder for me automatically. And then we're going to click import. You can see up here, operations in progress, and you can see it's importing the photos. Okay, so now let's get into some basic editing. So we're going to switch to the Develop tab. The first thing I like to do is just go through the photos and just, I like to give them a rating. So I either like to flag them as used or not used, and then give them a basic rating. So to flag for used, or to flag as discarded, is one I don't want. You press X. Okay, I'm going to reject that X to reject it, and then give it a rating of 1. You don't necessarily need to do that if you're rejecting the photo. The rating system is 1 to 5, and it's a way of being able to organize your photos. If you've got a lot of photos in one, you can organize them that way. It really is a meaningless thing. It's just a way of filtering your photos. How you do that, up to you. Okay. So that could be okay. Flag that as picked and give it a rating of 2 because I think that's something I can work with. This again, this is just my rating system. It means it's going to be different for you. Yeah, that's okay. You'll notice these photos are going from black and white into colour. That's because I shot them in monochrome on the camera. That's a blurred enough, so no good. Might be okay. That's a better one. A better one. That's not too bad. Not too bad. That one, okay. I'll do that. That's out of focus. We don't want that one. It's fine. Possibly. Okay. And no, it's not of anything. Okay. So there we've given all our photos a basic rating, and now we can sort that if we click on filter bar on rating down here and set that to 2. You can see it gets rid of the photos we've discarded with a 1 rating and gives us just our 2 photos. So now we're going to look at the cropping menu. So let's have a look through some of these. Which ones did I? That's quite a good one. I quite like that one. So the first thing we're going to do, because I did shoot it in black and white, is we're going to switch it to black and white. Okay. And then to enter the crop menu, we're going to come up here to the toolbar here on the right, crop overlay. And you'll see that will give you your grid and the crop overlay. So we're just going to adjust this. You've got your aspect ratio, so you can change it. We can change that and it'll automatically crop it to that. We can enter a custom value if we want. I use this sometimes when I'm editing photos for the Lo-Fi North Wales channel. If I want to get them the desktop, the pictures for a particular size for desktop wallpapers, I use this. But let's go to, but I'm not interested in doing that, so I'm going to go back to original. And I'm just gonna, let's just bring that down a little bit. I like that he's reaching out there with the sample of his little beer. So we'll leave that in, crop this in a little bit. Okay, try and leave the photos. Does that need straightening up? So you can see when I bring the cursor over here to the right, the icon changes. And now if I click and hold, does that need to be straightened up a little bit? There is an auto geometry. We have an auto thing down here. Wherever it is. Yes, there it is. So we could do auto enable. So that should click auto. It just, yeah, okay. So let's go back to our edit function. we're going to remove chromatic aberrations and enable profile correction. It's got that pole there, so I'm wondering whether or not it might be better to actually include a little bit more of the tent, to be honest with you. Yeah, yeah, that's a bit better. Okay, so with it being in black and white, there's not a lot, you know, we're not concerned with the colors. So let's, I like to reduce the highlights, and you can see here, up here in the right, how that just brings a little bit more detail into there. We can take out the shadows, which is a good way of bringing light into the picture without using the exposure, I find. So, okay. Texture. Actually try to increase the texture. Not too much. You don't want to go crazy. But that, again, just adds a little bit of detail into the picture. Okay. And I think that's good for that one. So what I'm going to do with that one, because I like that image and I think I want to keep it and I will use it, I'm going to set that rating to 3. Here's a simple 3-star rating. 1, disabled, rejected. 2, usable. 3, finished. What else have we got here? Okay, so that's not a bad one. Let's switch that to black and white as well. Let's, it's got the Aberfalls and the whiskers, so how do we want to crop that a little bit just to bring that in? Maybe do all that. Okay. And then we're going to, again, bring the shadows out of that a little bit. See if we can. It's a bit dark anyway, so tell over here in the histogram. So that's not making a huge amount of difference. The highlights in this case are just making it darker, so let's make it a bit lighter as well. Okay, texture, it's 2, that's not bad, so we'll be for that one. I think that's a bit out of focus on that one. It's a bit, this focus is a bit soft on that. I don't know what happened there. So we'll leave that one. Ah, okay, that's a good one. Switch that to black and white. We're going to crop that down and bring it in a little bit. I mean, you can always experiment, it's the key. So what if I bring it in to remove that woman's head there? Bring it in a little bit. What does that look like? That's reducing the highlights brings out a little bit of detail in the building in the background. And if I increase the shadow or remove the shadows, bit of grain in that, I think. So this was shot on the D5-200, using the 24 to 105mm lens. All these shots were shot on that. Texture, and that. Yeah, I quite like that. Find one where I can use the healing brush. Okay, so that's probably it for those. Let's go and have a look at some of the photos that I took last week of Writhing in the Snow. So these are ones I took last week. Okay, so we're just going to select from the library and then go back to develop. There's all kinds of keyboard shortcuts and tools that I'm not going into, but like I said, I'm only really learning myself. So anyway, here's a shot in the snow. But there's a few little bits about this. It's not a bad shot, but there's a few little bits like the lines, the power lines down here, and there's a little bird there which just doesn't look right. Plus, there's quite a bit of the lens or the camera sensor has got some little spots on it. You can just see them here and here, here. So we want to get rid of those. So what we're going to do is come up here to the remove or Q. Okay. And we're going to select, we've got three options: remove, heal, and clone. So I think what we'll do is if we select clone, we should be able to, if I select that, it's going to select another part, and I can move this around here, right? And because the sky is pretty uniform, I can select this part of the sky and it's just going to replace it over there. So when we go back to our edit, it's completely gone. Right. I don't want to be going through all of these trying to remove them. I probably need to get that lens cleaned or something. I don't know why that's like that. So to get rid of most of those, we're going to crop the photo. It doesn't need to be. There's a lot going on there. So let's bring that right down. We don't need a lot of that empty sky. There's nothing going on there. Let's bring that right down to there. Okay. But we've still got these power lines here, which headset went off, which I don't really like. Difficult to do much about it. I'd probably actually just crop this to take that out. Would probably be the best thing to do with that. But let's say we don't. Let's say we don't do that. Let's say we want to keep the width of the photo, but we want to get rid of these. So again, what we can do is we can draw a line with the clone tool down there, and because the sky is uniform, we can just go, well, we're just gonna, might even work here with the trees. The color is fairly uniform, but we also have a remove function, And this is where you're going to start using the generative AI and stuff like that. So let's see what this does. If I select that with a fairly uniform background, it shouldn't have a problem. Okay. It hasn't detected the object. Interesting. Okay. Okay, as an example, then let's try removing this entirely. I get rid of that. Let's see if it'll detect that. Yes, so there you go. Let's put the little red around there. And now I'm going to select subtract, and we're going to remove. It'll do its little thing where it thinks about it. Already on to 20 minutes. And there you go, it's tried to remove it. It's not actually done that bad a job, I don't think, really. This isn't very good, though. There must have been something going on there. That isn't very good at all. But anyway, there you go. You get an idea of what the tool is and what it does. I would probably just crop that in, to be honest with you. It doesn't need to be. Okay. So now we've edited our photos. Let's find one that I liked from before. So let's go back to library. We're going to go back to the with an extravaganza. We're going to go to develop. We're going to sort by rating 3. Okay. And so we want to export these 3 photos. So we can do all 3 at once by highlighting all 3, but I'll just do the one for now. So right click on that, export, and export. And we're going to put them in, we're going to choose a folder, and I'm just going to put them in events. Yeah, okay. Fin. Spelling is terrible, so that's wrong, but never mind. Okay, select that. You've got some options here to do things with the photo that Lightroom will do to it. A good one here, if you're trying to upload it to social media, particularly somewhere that has a limit on the file size, you can limit file size to, you can select the quality, and that will keep the picture down in size. You can resize your image here. I don't use that, so I don't know exactly how well that works or what that does. But sharpen for screen, never really tried that. I usually put a watermark on, so let's have a look what that looks like. You may not like the use of watermarks. Again, it's a personal thing. Okay. It's one of those things, it's a very personal thing, whether you like to do watermarks or not. It's useful if you're sharing edited images with somebody before giving them the final copy. I don't know if you use this though. Okay. And then down here we've got post-processing. What's it going to do afterwards? It's just going to show an Explorer. So we're going to, you can have it open in Adobe Photoshop or open in another application if you want to continue editing it. Although there's other ways of doing that, where you can edit the raw information. So this is going to convert it from a raw file to a JPEG. So let's export that. Okay, there you go. You can see it's exported that into Explorer. And there's the finished image. I don't know who this chap is. This was somebody who was the sellers at the extravaganza yesterday. So there you go. That's a basic introduction to Lightroom and my basic workflow from importing an image to editing it, basically cropping, some alterations to the settings, the colors, highlights, textures, so on, and exporting it. There is an awful lot more you can do with Lightroom than that, obviously. Tremendous amount of stuff you can do with it. It's very powerful. So, but there you go. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Next time, I'm going to do a video on, and now that I've got this set up to record the screen, and hopefully the audio is better because I'm using my headset, I'll do a video on how to use Microsoft Clipchamp. So 27 minutes for this one. That's quite a long video, so I managed to get through that in 2 takes as well, pretty much, so quite pleased with that. Right, so thanks for watching. See you on the next one.